Hey besties. I told you the update video was coming and I meant it. Did it take months? Like June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. 7 months? Maybe. Did I make any note on anything that I was going to talk about? Absolutely not. I know what I need to talk about. I'm here. I'm ready. So let's get started. Let's start at the beginning. So first off, isn't this really nice lighting? I'm in front of my window because the blue sky's out for like the second time, I guess, in like weeks. So that's pretty nice. And I'm sitting on my little storage ottoman thingy, and I just felt like this was really good lighting. So win to my apartment. Let's just start at the very beginning. So June, graduated, right? You saw the video. If not, you should go watch it. Graduated. I got to walk in the graduation ceremony. The college I went to, Central Washington University, if you're like done with your degree class-wise, you can walk in the ceremony at the end of the school year, but I just didn't get I haven't gotten my diploma yet, but it's like coming because I still had student teaching left. So I could walk, but I wasn't technically graduated. So that means they didn't print my name in the program. My name will not be printed in any program. Let me just point that out. It's not like it was going to be printed in the next one. I didn't get my name printed in the program at all. And when they called my name across the screen, even though I got the, I don't know how to say it, summa cum laude, the like 3.9 to 4.0 GPA, even though I earned that, didn't get to say it on my name on the screen because I wasn't in technically graduating. Same with all my friends, because I think we all like earned one of those. None of us got it. None of us had our name in the program. Disappointing, but that's fine. It made more sense to do it then than to wait a whole year to walk, because like I was done with my classes. You know what I mean? So anyways, this summer, before I had graduated, I talked to my parents because my original plan was to move home with them for student teaching, because I was student teaching in my hometown where my parents live. And after some careful consideration, I decided that I really didn't want to do that anymore. I love my parents. My parents and I are extremely close, and we have an amazing relationship. All like both of, you know what I mean? Perfect. It's great. But I have been living alone for a long time now, and I knew student teaching would take a toll on me, and I'd want to come home and just be able to like be by myself and have my own space. And I knew that going home to where where my parents live was just not gonna provide that. And also I didn't have like a great space to like have like a desk area or anything like that. And so just like all of those things considered, I decided that I wanted to continue to live in an apartment instead of living at home. So we found an apartment. There were a few different options that we were looking at. Some out like in towns really close to me, and none of those worked out. So we found this cute little apartment in Sela. It's a small apartment complex. I think there's only 8 apartments total. I love it though. Like I absolutely love it. I'm 2 minutes away from the school that I student taught at, so that was very convenient. And it's actually 2 bedrooms. I have an office. It's amazing. Here it is. As you can see, it's big. This living room, huge. Compared to my Brooklyn apartment that I had when I lived at Central, this is just like, it's perfect. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. But yeah, it's close to my parents' house, but it's not my parents' house. So that was really nice. And like I said, my parents and I are super close, but I think it was best for all of us. They want to be empty nesters and I want to have my own space, but I want to be able to see them, and I do see them really often. So it's just like perfect. So I moved in here at the beginning of August. I did a lot of animal sitting this summer. Basically all summer I did a lot of animal sitting, and my mom and I went to visit my grandma, which you saw. I did a few vlogs for that. Mostly just did a lot of animal sitting this summer and hanging out, just relaxing, preparing for the upcoming school year when I was going to start student teaching. So I started my student teaching at the very end of August. We had PD days, and then Sela starts school at the end of August. So started my student teaching, and my student teaching was the best experience I could have ever asked for. I have the best, I say have because she's still a mentor to me, even though I'm not her student teacher anymore. I have the best mentor in the whole entire world. The teacher that I student taught with, I worked with her when I was in high school, so this wasn't my first experience being in her, like, well, they changed schools, so it was my first time being in that new classroom, but this wasn't the first time I had worked with her, so, like, I knew how she taught and stuff like that, and we are just so similar, and we would both say it all the time, like, we were just the perfect match. Like, I mean, that's how I feel. I think she felt that way too, but we just were, like, the perfect match. It was just the best experience I could have possibly had for student teaching. I felt so supported. The kids that we had, I miss them so much. It was perfect. I enjoyed every second of it. It was a lot of work, but it was just like, a really good experience. And before I started student teaching, I kind of got a little not paranoid, but just kind of panicky that I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. Like, I'm really going to be teaching. Like, in a couple weeks, I'm literally going to take over this classroom and teach everything. And that was so intimidating, but it was so good. And I did my student teaching in the fall, so I got to see the beginning of the school year, which is something I've never seen before. And the way that our program was set up is that you're supposed to student teach in the last quarter, which would be spring quarter. But me and my friends, we all were like a little bit off of that normal path. So we student taught in the fall. And I think that that's how the program should be set up. Logistically, I don't know how that would work, but I think seeing the beginning of the school year is so much more important than seeing the end of the school year, because how you're going to end the school year is all based off how you start the school year. So if you don't know how to start a school year, it doesn't really matter how you end the school year. The ending will never be the same, whereas the start is more of a like concrete thing that you can like plan for, whereas the ending, you don't know where it's going to be, you know? So I think seeing how to start a school year was just so much more beneficial than it would have been to see like the middle or end of a school year, because I'd already seen that from my practicum. But seeing like the beginning of the school year, I just think was the best possible. Like, it was beautiful. Now I feel confident for when I hopefully get a job next year. Oh God, not next year, this year, next school year, that I will be able to more confidently anyway, start a school year, and I know what that looks like, and I just feel a lot more prepared that way. So I am really glad that I student taught in the fall. It was just perfect, and my teacher is like the most supportive person in the whole entire world, and I love her and I miss her so much. So student teaching went really well. It was a blast. I learned so much, and I just have such a strong connection with all of those kids, all of my students, and my mentor teacher and the other second grade teachers that I got to work with, which was just amazing. And we'll get into this later, but I just really enjoyed student teaching it was the same elementary school. It was a new school, so it wasn't the same elementary school, but it was the elementary school that I went to as a kid. None of the same teachers were there. Obviously, it's been a long time. But I just in the same district, and I didn't have a great experience in this district as a student. I did in the elementary school and like intermediate school, but like middle school, high school, I had a pretty poor experience. I did well academically. That wasn't the issue. Just like kind of like I don't know what you would call it, the community, I guess you could say. I just never felt that supported, only by a few teachers. So I definitely had a sour taste in my mouth, and I was kind of nervous to come student teach here just because like the last experience I had was really, really bad. And I won't get into all that, but I'll just say, I'll just put this out here that'll kind of give you an idea. I was not an athlete, and the town that I live in is like, that's what they care about, is like the athletic program. And that's, I don't want to say fine, because I don't think it is, to each their own. I feel like, especially as an educator, knowing that I was going to be an educator while I was in high school, seeing how students were treated based on whether they played sports or not really rubbed me the wrong way, because I knew that as a teacher that's not how I would do it. And so that definitely like wasn't my favorite thing. Anyways, so I just felt like my experience was kind of like not great. And so coming back to the district, I was a little worried that it wouldn't be my favorite thing. But I had a really good experience student teaching, and I felt very supported, and it was just awesome, and it made me want to actually teach here, which I never thought I'd want to, just because like I said, my high school experience was awful, and I was like miserable the whole time, and it wasn't until college that I started to love school again. So I was definitely not thinking that I would fall in love with the district, but then I did, and I really just like, I don't know, and I never had an issue with elementary school, so I didn't think it would necessarily transfer over, but yeah, it definitely changed my perspective at the time. After student teaching was done, I got to observe, so I observed at the kinder campus, the intermediate school, and the middle school, basically everything except for the high school, because my degree only goes through 8th grade, and I don't really want to work at the middle school, but like, I'm open to it. I just don't know a lot about middle school, because like, my degree is through 8th grade, but the classes don't focus on middle school. And it would definitely be different teaching like one subject rather than all of them, but like I said, I'm open to it. And when I was observing it, I did really like it, and I really liked the community that they had at the middle school. It was definitely different from when I went there, at least it felt different, so I did really like that. But anyway, so I did get to do a lot of observing in the district. Oh my gosh, the principal at the kindergarten campus like went all out. She had a schedule for me, she had a map, she gave me a personal tour. Like, I felt like obviously me observing, it wasn't like an interview for me, but I felt like she was really wanting to make a good impression on me so that I would want to teach there. And that not only did it take a lot of pressure off of me, but it made me feel appreciated as an educator, that I was like, wow, they're trying to make a good impression for me. It's not about me right now trying to make myself look good. They're trying to make themselves look good to me. And that was just like a really calming feeling, knowing that, just kind of remembering that when I interview or when I do observe a school, it's not all about if I'm a good fit for them, it's if they're a good fit for me. And I feel like that's a really important thing that I need to remember, especially through the interviewing process when I start that, you know, it's not just about if I'm a perfect employee, it's if they're the perfect fit for me, you know what I mean? So that just felt really nice. I felt appreciated, and I felt like, I just felt very like taken seriously. And as like a young teacher, I didn't know for sure how that would go. So that was just really an amazing experience. So I loved that. And the kindergarten campus, it's so cool. You know those playground things that they have at McDonald's? The like, you know, inside? They have 2 of those at the school because they believe in learning through play. I walked by and I was like, and she was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you've never been here. Look at these. I'm like, you're kidding me. It's so cool. It's so cool. And the teachers were like so open to having me in there and wanted to answer any questions I had. It was a really good experience. So observing around the district was awesome, and I really enjoyed that. And yeah, it was great. So I think that kind of sums up student teaching in a nutshell. I obviously didn't go into a lot of detail about what student teaching like looked like in terms of like when I started taking things over and being observed and stuff like that. I could definitely do another video about that if anyone's curious about what student teaching kind of looks like. But overall, it was a really good experience, and if anyone did want to see something like that, like a more in-depth of what it looked like or any advice, just things that I learned, I'd be open to that. But if I did that in this video, it would be really long because we're only like halfway through the updates, I feel like. I don't know. So let me know if you're interested in that. But it was a good experience, and I was really sad when it was over, even though working full-time for free is really hard and can be discouraging. It was still a really good experience considering I already knew that's how it was going to be, you know? So yeah. Oh, also I should say my lease is a year, so I don't have any intentions at this point in time of moving from this apartment. I really, really like it, and I feel safe here. Like I said, it's close to schools, it's close to my parents' house. It's just, I really like it. But it is only a year lease, so come August, if I, you know, depending on where I end up getting a job, if I do need to skedaddle, I can. But at this point in time, I don't want to move. I really like this apartment. Also, moving is a hassle. I don't want to ever move again. But obviously that's not realistic. So, but I really like this apartment, and I think it's just so nice to have 2 bedrooms for just myself. Like, I have so much storage space. Also, this room right here, you would not believe how big of, it's literally like a room. It's like Harry Potter, room under the stairs, because like on the other wall are stairs going up to other people's apartments. It's huge. I have so much storage. I have so much storage space. It's amazing. So anyways, moving on. So my student teaching ended mid-November, and right around Thanksgiving, hold on. No, I have more to say. I got my emergency sub certificate while I was student teaching. So my teacher towards the end was able to be gone, and I was able to sub for her. That was also an amazing experience. Like, obviously I had been teaching full time up until then, but when she was like gone for the day and I knew she wasn't in the building, I felt like it was my classroom. Like, I felt like I was their real teacher, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm just student teaching right now. I was like, no, I'm literally subbing, and I'm getting paid for this. I'm getting paid to do what I've been doing, what I've been loving, and that was the best experience. I got to sub for her, I think, like 4.5, 5 times while I was still technically student teaching, and it was just amazing. And I was so nervous the first time, but now I'm like, I just can't wait to sub for her again. She did have to have a sub for a couple days that I wasn't able to be there, and we'll get into that in a second as to why. But for the rest of the school year, I will be available for her too, whenever she needs a sub, unless I'm like subbing for my mom or something like that. But yeah, that was such a good experience too, and I can definitely talk about that in another video, in that video, if anyone's curious about, like, I mean, at least for in my district, like the subbing process and like subbing as a student teacher, because I highly recommend, if you're student teaching, get your emergency sub certificate so that you can sub for your teacher. It's not that much money for the emergency sub certificate. You would make the money back within 1 day of subbing for your mentor teacher. So unless you know for a fact your mentor teacher is not going anywhere, I would hop on that. Also, it ensures that you can sub immediately when you're done student teaching. Central wants you to do this like interim sub, which is like meaning that you can only sub for your mentor teacher. Same thing as student teaching with the emergency sub. I could only sub for my mentor teacher, but the difference was the day I was done student teaching, my interim sub would go away, and I'd still have to get an emergency sub certificate if I wanted to sub before my real certificate came in. But if I just got the emergency sub certificate, which is what I did, the day that I was done subbing, or the day that I was done student teaching, I could sub for anyone in the district. So do that if you have the opportunity. I 100% recommend it. Like I said, unless your mentor teacher is not going to be gone at all. But even then, I would still get it, because then the second that you're done student teaching, you can sub for anybody in the district. And that is really convenient. And that's what booked me my next job that I had. Past tense. Had. And we'll get into that right now. Okay. So I finished student teaching mid-November, and because my teacher was gone a couple days, I did some subbing for her on the days that like would have been my last days. And then my teacher wanted to celebrate me and have like a little party with the kids, but she was gone, and so she asked me if I could come back a day the next week to do it. So I did, and that was like, I think that was the week leading up. We don't have like the full week off for Thanksgiving. We just have the like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that Monday and Tuesday, they still had school. And so anyway, so I came in for that, and around the same time, another second grade teacher was going to be taking some leave and was going to be gone and needed a long-term sub. And she asked my mentor teacher first to like get my information to like see if I would be interested, and then asked me about it. And I kind of had to make a quick decision, because at the time it was like starting literally the next week. Like, I think she asked me on like the Monday or Tuesday, and then it was going to be starting the next Monday. And so I was a little unsure what I should do. And I'm going to be very brief about this, but the class definitely had I definitely had an idea of what I was going to be. I had an idea of what to expect, but after finding out for real, it was a lot different than I was expecting it to be. She planned the first 3 weeks for me, so going into it, I didn't have to plan anything. It was there for me when I started. Anyway, so I accepted the job, because my thought process was, it can't be that bad. And I was going to be right across the hall from my mentor teacher, so how convenient. And I get to see my kids every day still, and stuff was already planned for me. And I wanted to work in this district, and I wanted to work at this school. And I was like, what a great way to kind of get my foot in the door and gain experience, but also like in the district I want to work in. I was like, this is perfect. And it was a guaranteed job every day for that duration of time. And I didn't think I would have a hard time getting sub jobs, but it was nice to know that I was going to have a job every single day for this amount of time, and that I was going to be getting paid for those days. So in the end, I did say yes. And going back on the emergency sub thing, if I hadn't gotten my emergency sub certificate when I did, I wouldn't have had it, and I probably wouldn't have been able to take the position. So that's how quick the turnaround time was that benefited me. So that's just an example of why I think you should get one. But yeah, so I accepted the long-term sub job. It was from like November 28th until January 18th. Let me just a little foreshadowing. It is January 18th. No, it's January 17th right now. And it's the middle of the school day, and I am at home. So a little foreshadowing for you. Anywhoosies, I accepted the job, and it was a lot. It was a lot. And luckily I had my mentor teacher there for support, because I don't know what I would have done without her. I don't know what I would have done. I don't want to get super into it, and I don't want to like be a Debbie Downer or anything, and I'm not trying to like badmouth anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to do anything like that, but I just think it's important for me to be honest about my experiences, and just kind of share for those that are also teachers and going into these kind of things. I don't know, I just think it's good to be open and honest, and it was a big experience for me, and I can talk about that if I want to. So I took on this long-term sub position, and the first 3 weeks were a bit rocky. My mental health was definitely really, really struggling, which was unfortunate. But I was powering through. I was doing my best. I was definitely, backtrack, a quick little update. I have since become a reader. I'm in my reader girl era, and this is the one era that's not going to stop. I've been reading like crazy. And so reading has also definitely helped me get through this whole experience, because we'll get to it, but I have been literally bottom of the barrel mentally, health-wise, like mental health. I can't even speak, like so bad. I have been so bad recently mentally. And so reading was like that thing that pulled me out of being depressed every second of every day. So I am very thankful for that. And I just want to put that in the update that I've read so many books recently, and I love it. And yeah, I just want to put that out there that I'm a reader now. So if you have any recommendations, comment them down below. So yeah, the 3 weeks leading up to winter break were a lot. I did have plans from the teacher, but I did have to add a lot of stuff, and so I did have to stay pretty late every single day, which was definitely stressful, because there's like it's like a gray line kind of area of like how much a long-term sub needs to plan, but I wasn't really I wasn't told about any of it, so I just was kind of doing what I thought. I just did what I needed to do, you know what I mean, to make sure I was ready for the next day. And so yeah, so I stayed late, really late, almost every day, just trying to like make things better for the next day. And it was really hard. It took me a long time to get access to a lot of the things that I needed. And so it was just really stressful. And then winter break came, 2 weeks of just not having to do anything. And that was the best thing for me. The Friday, the last day before we started winter break, I stayed till like 7 p.m. and got the whole week planned for when I came back, so that I didn't have to worry about it at all over winter break, which was really good, because halfway through winter break, they disabled my Google account, and I thought all my stuff was gone. Got it back, everything was fine, but yeah, so it was just a little stressful. But during winter break, I just got to relax, and then I came back from winter break, and things just got really bad really quickly. And yeah, I won't go into it any more than that. Things got really, really bad, and I mentally could not keep up with it. I couldn't handle it. I was dreading every second of every single day. Even when I like left school for the day, I was just dreading that time, knowing that I only had a couple hours until I had to get ready for bed and do it all over again. So I was at a really low point. The lowest point I've ever been my whole entire life, and that was really scary. And just didn't feel good because I didn't want to feel that way, and I didn't think that I should be feeling that way. And my mom and dad throughout this whole situation have been so supportive. Not that they're not through every other situation, but they were there for me every step of the way. It's not like I didn't have good support, but it's just like it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, even with the support, there was nothing I could do to fully bring myself out unless I wasn't doing it. So bottom line, I made the decision last week. I was about to go to school one day and I just started crying in the bathroom. It was like 20 minutes before I needed to leave, and I just like broke down and I was just crying my eyes out, and I was like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, but I can't quit. And then all of a sudden it just clicked in my head, and I was like, I can quit. It doesn't make me a quitter. If I am this like miserable, then I need to stop. I need to do what's best for me, because right now I'm just not living life in a way that I want to or that is good for me. And so I had to make the decision that I needed to be done. And it was a really hard decision to make, and I wish it didn't have to come to that, but I just wasn't, like I said, I was not doing well, and I just wasn't receiving the support that I needed for this situation. So I did have to make that choice. But to, get away from the negative of that, I have never been happier. Like, the second that I left that day, because I stayed late on my last day and like planned for the new person that was going to come in, because I didn't want to leave them hanging. I already felt terrible. I felt so guilty that I was going to stop before the time that I had originally said. But like I said, I had to do what was best for me. And so I thought the least I can do is like finish out the planning for those days. You know what I mean? Oh, I already had it planned, but like make the slides, make the copies so that whoever came in would have what they needed, just to help, a little bit. But when I left that day, just like the rain clouds went away and the sun opened up. Figuratively, it was still gloomy outside. I had made the right choice. I have been so happy since that day, and I don't think I've ever been this happy. I feel so relieved. My mental health is like skyrocketed. Everything's okay again. I've just been excited for each day instead of dreading each day, which is really good and really important. Because like I said, it was scary that I felt so bad, because I didn't know what to do to fix it. And I wasn't sure that there was a way to fix it, except for when the time came that I was going to be done. And so that's just a really scary feeling. And I've never felt, there's been times in my life where I'm not happy and things don't go the way I want, and I am a little depressed, but it's never been like this before. I've never, ever felt the way that I felt recently. And like I said, it was terrifying, and I didn't want to feel like that anymore. So like I said, did what's best for me, and now I feel amazing. Like, I think even just looking at myself, like, I feel like I look better. I didn't want to hang out with people. I was so upset. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to come home, read, and just sit on the couch and not talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Because you know what they say, teachers make so many decisions every single day. Not the Christmas decor that didn't get put away. Teachers make so many decisions every single day that the last thing they want to do when they get home is like make any more. So I just wanted to sit, Anywho, so I know that I made the right decision, and I, definitely had support in making that decision. And so that was good. And now I'm just excited for the future, because I know it's only going to get better from here. I have a few sub jobs lined up. Nothing in this month right now. I'm taking this week off to just relax, because I would have been teaching 2 days this week and then not 2 days anyways, so I wasn't going to sub on those 2 days. So I'm just taking today and tomorrow off, just because I deserve it. So, but I'm going to get situated to sub in my mom's district so I can sub for my mom, and I'm going to sub for just more in this district once I'm ready to start subbing again, basically. But yeah, life has just been really good. I've been snowmobiling, I've been reading, I've been seeing my friends, I've been hanging out with my family, and my pets. I'm just happy again, basically. So I promise this update video is ending on a good note. Like, I couldn't be happier right now, and like I said, I just know that I've made the best choices, and everything that has led up to this point is how things were supposed to be. And now I'm in a good place, and I'm really excited, and yeah, I don't know what comes next. I mean, I'm gonna sub, and then eventually it'll be time to start interviewing and hopefully finding a position in a district around here. Yeah, I'm open to any district right now, and so I'm excited to see what the future holds. I will keep you guys updated, of course. I say that as if I'm really good at posting when I say I'm going to, but that's another thing that I really want to keep or get back into is posting. I was in Ellensburg today, actually. I went to renew my license because the DMV in Ellensburg is so much easier to handle than the one in Yakima. So I went and renewed my license because it's about to expire. And then I got to see one of my friends. I saw my friend Margaret, and that was just so fun. And just like being in Ellensburg and like seeing the college and seeing the kids walk around made me so sad because I miss it. But it also made me remember all the fun vlogs that I did and how much fun I had with that. And I was like, I just need to do it. I just need to stay with it. And I think this is a good start. I'm gonna start editing this right now, literally, and try to get it up tonight. But I also need to read, so I think I can do both. And the dishes. I have a lot of things I need to do, but that's fine. But yeah, I'm gonna try my best to keep up with this. I don't want to put myself to a schedule and say that I'll post like on a certain day, because I don't want to just post to post. Like, I want to have something that I enjoy, that I actually want to post about. So yeah, so I don't want to say like, oh, I'm gonna post because I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm definitely gonna try to post more often. And if there's anything you want to see, let me know. If you want me to talk about student teaching, subbing, let me know. I think that's everything I have to update about. Apartment, student teaching, subbing, life. I think that's everything I have for now. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little life update. I feel like it was also really good for me to just finally like say it out loud, because it's been a journey, and I've come a long way, and I am proud of myself for everything. I'm just proud of myself for everything. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, or like me, or you think you might like me, you want to see more, you should like and subscribe if you want, down below. But yeah, I guess that's everything. I hope you are doing well whenever you're seeing this. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.